I want to introduce you to a very, very effective team tool. It's called the 5-minute stand-up meeting. Now, most teams do this daily. It's less than 5 minutes. You can get around everyone. If you've got sort of 10 people or less, you can get around this quite quickly. But there's a very specific agenda, and there's a lot of stuff going on under the surface, It looks really simple, but it's actually got quite a lot of planning behind it. Let me introduce you to the 5-minute stand-up meeting agenda. Okay, there are 3 things that we want to do every day. We want to get people, we want to get your team to, number 1, reinforce what they're doing really, really well. We want to acknowledge when they're doing things well, and we want to give them a sense of momentum. So it's really important that we reinforce what went well. Number 2, we want to get them to focus and become laser clear about what their top priority is for today. And number 3, we want to get them to work together a little bit better. We want to get them to use the inner resources of the entire business to get help rather than coming to you for everything. Sound familiar? That'd be pretty cool. Okay, let me introduce you to the 3 agenda items. Number 1, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get everyone standing up, no sitting down because it goes faster standing up, and we're going to say, okay, what are my wins for the day? What went well? Because that's really what we're focusing on. What went well? It does a few things. It gives the team a chance to acknowledge each other, and you'll find your teammates going, oh yeah, that was a really good job. Yeah, top job. It gives the leader a chance to praise the behavior they want to see more of. That's a really important aspect, because when you're praising the stuff that you want to see more of, you see it more often, and people are looking for that acknowledgement. So it's really good. It gives us a lot of momentum because we're looking behind us what went well, and we just don't do that enough. We mostly focus on what didn't go well. So the very first thing is, what are your wins? That can be one thing, that can be a number of things. It can be tiny or it can be big. So, landed this big account, obviously that's a big win, but a small win is just as important. For example, you might say, I was struggling with this process and we really managed to get that done really well yesterday. It doesn't need to be huge. Okay, the second thing that we want to do, we want to get them focused on what your top priority for the day is. So, what's your focus for the day? Now, why is this important? Because it helps your team identify the most valuable activity that they can be working on today. And it gives you a chance to align them to the goals. Because if they say, well, I'm focusing on this, and you think, well, hang on, that project over there is really important, we've got a deadline, you can say, okay, so is that, what if we focused on this today? Could that wait till next week? Gives you a chance to give them a little bit of feedback. All right. The third one that we want to focus on is, what are your challenges for the day and what help do you need? Right? So what are the hurdles you're expecting to have to go over, and what help do we need? And more importantly, where are you going to get it from? This is exactly where you would use the 2 solutions policy. If they say, well, I need help with this, or I have a problem with this, and they don't have a solution, you can ask them, so what are your 2 solutions? It encourages leadership. It encourages cross-departmental helpfulness, because someone else might go, oh yeah, we had that problem and I solved it with this. I'll email that to you, or I'll send to you, or whatever we'll do. It also helps your team understand how to come up with innovative ideas to help deal with the challenges and the hurdles. It's really cool. So it's very simple. What are your wins? What's your top priority for today? And what are your challenges, and what help do you need? The deeper level to this is this. Let me have a look. There's actually something else going on. The first is, we want your team to learn from the past. Particularly, we want to focus on what's working. When we focus on failure, we tend to get more failure, unfortunately. We want to work on and learn from what's working really well. The second aspect is, we want to connect what they're doing today, the actions, to the goals. Now, if you've set a goal as a team, keeping that alive is really important. So focusing on what the actions you're doing today are and how they connect to that big goal, that's really important. Finally, the cooperation part of it, We want them future oriented. We want them to go, okay, here are the challenges coming up, and this is how I want to handle them. This is the help I need. But it encourages resourcefulness. It encourages them to come up with the solutions themselves. So it might just be a 5-minute stand-up meeting, but there's a lot going on underneath that. And the most important thing is that you do this consistently. I've got plenty of teams who do it at the beginning of the shift. 5 minutes, it's really, really good to get everyone aligned in that 5-minute meeting. However, if you only do it once a week or 2 times a week or 3 times a week, that's totally fine. It's just really important that we reinforce, we focus, and we encourage cooperation in a really short focused team meeting.